When it comes to Dead by Daylight, the topic of accessibility has been a major conversation talking point for a very, very long time. And the reason for that is because there is a lot of accessibility issues that simply do not need to exist when it comes to Dead by Daylight. Now, unfortunately, this conversation is always incredibly difficult to have because people who are against accessibility and against change overall love to shove their heads completely up their ass when you're talking about accessibility options. A lot of times when people are asking for accessibility, the only thing that they are asking for is the ability to do the same thing that other people can do with their disability. So what I mean by that is something like, for example, the spirit. There's been a lot of discussions on this channel, especially from me, where I say that all I want out of the spirit is to be able to do the exact same thing that people that can hear well can already do. And what is that exact same thing? Know the location of the spirit while she's phasing. The spirit, while she's phasing, makes a distinctive directional sound that people with normal hearing can utilize to understand where she's coming from. All I want is a visual indicator that helps me and other hard of hearing people do the same thing. Other things for accessibility issues have been things like how bright flashlights are. People like me who have photosensitivity and cannot handle bright lights have been asking for a long time for the ability to have an option to darken the screen. People who have an aversion to vomiting sounds have asked for the ability to, just for them, turn off the vomit sounds that the plague causes. Not turn off for the plague, but turn off just for the individual survivor who's playing against the plague. And there's several other things like this where people are just kind of asking to have the same ability to play the game that other people who don't have their disability are able to do. With that being said, the most recent item, the Fog Vials, have become a discussion of accessibility inside of the game. And I have a very, very, very hot take as somebody who has advocated for accessibility in the game. I do not think that the Fog Vials are an accessibility issue. I simply don't, and I will give my reasons. But first, let's talk about the Fog Vials in general, so I can kind of give you my opinion on them. The Fog Vials are one of the most irritating items ever added to this game. However, I do not think that they need to be changed or removed. I do think that there needs to be one changed, but what do the Fog Vials do? If you haven't played DBD for a while or you haven't played since the patch and you're not aware, Fog Vials are not what we originally thought they were going to be from the first Halloween event. In the original Halloween event, the fog crystals were just these giant puffs of blue cocaine clouds that just obscured your vision completely and there was nothing you could do about it. The Fog Vials, though, anything within the range of the fog, there are no scratch marks. You can't see auras inside the cloud or outside of it. The sounds are completely suppressed, so no moaning, no grunts, none of that. New blood pools are completely suppressed. So what the Fog Vials are essentially there to do is for you to duck around a corner and confuse the killer, and it's done a fairly good job of doing that. That doesn't make the thing any less irritating, but there's plenty of stuff in this game that's irritating. Steve Gulls, for example, are the bane of my fucking existence. If you are a Steve player and you put on Scene Partner, I hate you. I hate you. I hope that every single day of your life you wake up with a Charlie horse at 2 o'clock in the morning. Fuck you, okay? But regardless, I don't think the Fog Vials really need any changes outside of you should be able to see outside auras. So if you're in the fog, you can't see any auras at all, which I think is kind of dumb. I think that if you're in the fog, you should be able to see auras like outside of the fog's radius, but all auras inside the fog should be suppressed. But that's a discussion for a different day. So the Fog Vials are okay. They're fine. I don't think they need to be removed. I think they're annoying, and I do think that they're going to be a pretty decent item when used correctly. I think they're going to have a very high skill floor as an item, and they're probably going to have a decently high skill ceiling as well, because there does seem to be a lot of potential with this item. Back to the accessibility thing. Because of the way the Fog Vials work, which is they turn off all sight, they turn off all sound, and they make seeing normal stuff harder, I don't consider that to be an accessibility issue. I don't consider that to be something that is taking away from people with disabilities, but people without disabilities can use it just fine. Like, I think the only thing I can see is if somebody has bad eyesight, but most of the time that's circumvented with like glasses and stuff, right? So it's kind of like whenever the discussion comes up around Dredge's Nightfall. The screen gets really dark and people who have bad eyesight get really annoyed because they have even harder of a time seeing in Dredge's Nightfall. But the entire point of the Nightfall is for you to not see anything. So that's how it's supposed to affect everybody. If it affects everyone the same, then it's not an accessibility issue, at least not in my opinion. And there could very well be an argument that can change my mind on this. I'm not saying that this is like a steadfast, it's not an accessibility issue, fuck you if you think it is. I would be more than willing to hear people's reasonings for why they think something that affects everyone evenly is an accessibility issue, because I just don't think that it is. I think that the item is doing what it's supposed to do, and that's the entire point. In my opinion, it would kind of be like calling flashlights an accessibility issue if you had the ability to darken the screen, right? It'd kind of be like, well, I don't have good eyesight and the flashlights remove my ability to see. They remove everybody's ability to see. That's the point of the item. I just think that they're too bright. But if an item does something, but that's the whole point, right? If an item does something that affects everybody equally, then it's fine. It's annoying, it's irritating, but I do not think that the fog vials really need that much changes as of right now. This opinion can change in the future. It is still a brand new item, but I think that the discourse around fog vials as an accessibility issue and as an item that needs to be nerfed or something like that is kind of just wrong. I think everybody from both sides are just not going at this the way they should. Again, they're irritating, they're really annoying, but they do their job well, and I think that they're fine. I think we need to just leave fog vials alone. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think. And as always, a very, very big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. You want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.